Girl, you already know that's not your friend. You already know that relationship, that friendship is toxic as hell. And deep down inside, you want to let it go. That's why it's weighing on you. But you're also trying to negotiate with yourself. You're trying to convince yourself that maybe you're just overthinking, maybe you're being dramatic, maybe they were just having a rough day. No, that's not your friend. The friendship has been over because, if we're being honest, it was probably never a friendship in the first place. See, I believe friendships are reciprocal, meaning I give, you take, you give, I take. But if I'm the only one giving, then we have a serious problem. And that's when you know you have to cut ties. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jasmine. I'm so glad to have you. And in this video, I want to talk to you guys about friendships or relationships and letting them go and recognizing that when you let go of something that is draining you, someone that's draining you, when you remove yourself and take back your energy, everything that you always wanted for yourself grows, because now you're not giving energy to people who are just using you. Okay. And I learned this lesson, especially when I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2020. So 6 years ago, I had quote unquote friends, and I'm going to use the word friends loosely because reflecting back, those weren't friendships, right? And when I quit my job and started working for myself, I started to notice that these friendship dynamics that I had were slowly fizzling away. I also noticed that we were doing a lot more arguing than we used to. And that's just because our paths were no longer aligned. I also, because I spent so much time by myself during that time, because I was working from home while everybody else was at work, I reflected and I realized they were never really giving me anything like I was giving them. Like I was the one showing up and celebrating them for Mother's Day, celebrating their birthdays, celebrating weddings. But what have they ever celebrated for me? When my birthday comes around, people aren't even texting. Just text happy birthday. I had to recognize that this was not a friendship from the jump, right? And it sucks, especially when you recognize the truth, when you see people for who they are, right? You see like, wow, this whole time I thought I was in a friendship, but really I'm in a one-sided relationship. It sucks. It sucks. And then you start negotiating with yourself because you're trying to figure out, well, maybe I'm being dramatic, or maybe, well, I know they're going through something, or times are tough for them. No, that's giving the benefit of the doubts. And we got to stop doing that. That doesn't get you anywhere. If you haven't noticed, that's just who they are. Or at least that's the dynamic they want to have with you, right? And they're allowed to. But you don't have to participate. You don't have to continue showing up for people who have shown you time and time and time again that they don't want to show up for you. You don't have to proceed in those type of relationships. You're allowed to cut them off and not feel guilty about it. See, I think a lot of the times when we do feel guilty about removing people out of our life who aren't doing shit for us in the first place, it's really because we're trying to fill some type of void. I know for myself, I used to struggle a lot with feeling lonely, with feeling like I'm missing out on friendships, feeling like if I don't have friends around me, then what does that say about who I am as a person, right? And so I didn't want to let those friendships go, because then that would make me think that, well, then that means I'm not worthy of friendships, because why can't I have healthy friendship dynamics? But what I had to realize on my glow up journey, going through counseling and things like that, we attract what we are. I know that sounds crazy. I know a lot of times people don't want to truly accept it, but it's true. We do attract what we are. And just like you were taking something too, it's just not necessarily what you consciously wanted to take. So for instance, with myself, I needed validation, right? I needed to feel like I was worthy because I couldn't feel like that within myself. So I would become friends with people or be in relationships with people who I truly wanted external validation from, because I just couldn't get it from myself, right? And so in the process of me trying to fill that void that I hadn't filled with myself, I'm always overgiving. I'm always, doing and never receiving, because now that makes me feel good, right? Now that makes me feel like I'm worthy. And In fact, I was actually just doing a lot of performing. I was trying to convince people that I'm a good person because I didn't feel that way about myself, right? I was trying to convince people that, hey, I can be trustworthy. Hey, you can depend on me. But I wasn't even really depending on myself. I was actually codependent, not self-dependent. So I want you guys to ask yourself, what are you holding on to in these relationships and these friendships? What is it really? Is it the fear of being alone? And if so, well then what kind of things can you add to your life that make you feel more complete? A lot of times we, I don't want to use the word given up on ourselves. I don't want to use that phrase, but we keep putting ourselves on a back burner, right? And so you're always doing for others, but you don't do for yourself, meaning you had goals that you wanted to achieve however long ago, and you still haven't done it. Maybe you've been wanting to lose weight, ain't lost the weight yet. Maybe you wanted to become more active, haven't done it. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, haven't started it because you keep doing for other people and they're not even reciprocating that back to you. Okay. So instead of you always giving away your energy and not receiving anything in return, why don't you just start giving the energy back to you? Why don't you start locking in on the things that you've been wanting to do for a really long time, but was trying to convince yourself that you're too busy? Because holding on to those friendships, that's not doing anything for you. It's draining you. It's frustrating you. It's making you feel resentful. And let me tell you, resentment, carrying the emotion of resentment with you every single day, that is a heavy emotion. That is heavy. You don't want to carry resentment with you. But you're resenting these people because you expect things from them that they're not giving you. But you're only expecting what you're giving to them. But failing to realize you could just give that to yourself. So, for instance, for myself, I am a very supportive friend. Anything that you tell me you want to do, I'm going to support you 10,000%. Like, I'm here for it. I'm going to be your first customer. Like, I am so excited for you, right? That's the type of person I am. And that's because that's how I am to myself, right? And so what I was doing was when I had friends, I would try to give that same level of support, like, oh my God, girl, oh my God, let me be your first customer. Da, da, da. But my feelings started to get hurt and I started to feel resentment because I wasn't getting that back. So when I'm telling you about an idea that I want to do, you're not paying me no mind. When I'm trying to start this business, you're not celebrating me or congratulating me or being my first customer or even sharing the post. You're not doing any of the things that I would do for you, right? But I had to realize I was expecting people to do things for me that they don't even do for themselves, right? In other words, these people all had business ideas at some point in time when we were friends, right? And not once did they ever follow through with that idea. So that means they're not even capable of supporting themselves right now. Because if they truly were capable of supporting themselves, whatever business idea, whatever goal that they had, they would be getting it done, right? If they were trying to lose weight, they'd be losing the weight because they're showing up for themselves and supporting themselves. But they weren't doing that. But for some reason in my mind, I thought that I could get them to do that for me. You guys, people can only meet you where they're at. They can't be this magical friend to you if they're not even a magical person to themselves. They can only meet you where they're at. And that has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that you're unworthy of healthy friendships. It doesn't mean that you're unworthy of love. It means that you're trying to seek that in others instead of just seeking it within yourself. And when you do start giving that energy that you're giving to others back to you, and you feel that void, whatever is missing, whatever you feel like you're truly holding on to in that friendship or relationship, when you start giving that back to you, you're going to start to attract people who know how to show up for you in those ways because that's how they show up for themselves. You're going to start surrounding yourself with other people who don't need you to perform for them to show up as a good friend to you because they're a good person to themselves, right? But I do want to remind you, the longer that you continue to allow these people to siphon energy off of you, meaning you keep letting them have access to your resources. You keep letting them have access to your energy. You keep giving them your attention, right? You keep giving them your time. Time is such a valuable asset because you'll never get it back. Time is your most valuable asset. Can't get back time, right? But the longer you hold on to these people, the longer you delay your growth. Because in order for you to achieve anything that it is you want to achieve, I don't care whether it's weight loss, business, doesn't matter. You need your energy to do it. You need to feel good about yourself in order to do it, which is why I spend so much time talking about confidence, because if you're insecure, if you lack confidence, you're not going to feel good within in order to actually get that thing done. But a lot of times the reason why we don't feel good within is, well, a couple of reasons. One, you don't keep the promises that you made yourself, which is why you have that void that you're trying to fill through holding on to toxic friendships. But then two, you're allowing people into your energy that aren't reciprocating anything back to you that you give them, right? And so over time, that starts to make you feel bad about yourself. Like I said earlier, you start to feel like you're unworthy of love. You start to feel like you're unworthy of friendship. No, you're just trying to get it from the wrong people. Because they've shown you time and time again, they're not capable or they're not willing to give that to you. And then you might think, well, they give it to other people, but that's their choice. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I know it hurts. It hurts to be able to have to sit there and say, wow. So they'll show up for others like that, but they won't show up for me like that. It hurts. I know. But just like they have a choice on who they want to show up for, you have a choice to this. You have a choice. And do you want to continue to give your energy to somebody who's treating you like that? You don't have to keep being their friend. You don't have to keep supporting them. You don't have to keep showing up for them. And then people will say, well, I'm a good person. I say that too. Yeah, that's good that you're a good person. But you don't have to be a good person to them, because the more you keep doing for them, the more you keep taking from yourself. And you matter too. So yes, if it's been weighing on you to cut that person off, that's because deep down in your soul, you know that you should. Now the question is, are you going to? I don't know. I hope so, but people only move when they're ready and not a minute before. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, did this video help you? Are you struggling with letting people go who aren't reciprocating, who are toxic? I would love to read what you guys have to say. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.